Hello and welcome to Google Studio series. If you are someone who uses Google Drive regularly with your team members, then this video will be for you. We have used this process internally. So before we did this automation for our team, the video editor used to upload the video on Drive, and then he had to notify the reviewer that there is a new video for you to review. But with this particular automation, he does not have to do anything. He just has to upload a new file in the Drive and the reviewer will automatically be notified. So let's check how this one works. So to begin, let me create a new flow. And in this particular case, we are going to check the triggers or starters, which is Drive related. So the first one is when an item is added to a folder. Right, so you can see here when an item is added to a folder. So I'll use this. It'll ask you which particular folder are we talking about, right? So I'll go to Drive. Now I'll probably create one folder here, right? And this is going to be, let's say, in Google Drive demo. Okay, so I'm going to create this. So whenever there is a new file added into this, we have to get notified, right? So this is the folder that I'm going to select now. Google Drive demo, select. Now you can see here, allow this flow to start when other flows add Gmail attachment to Drive. Okay, so what this means is if there is some other flow which will take the attachment from Gmail and put it into this particular Drive, then should this flow run or not? Okay. So basically what we're telling is other automation can trigger this automation if the file is getting added in this particular Drive. Okay, for now I'll leave it as is. The next step is going to be very simple. That is notifying me in chat, right? And what is that we have to be notified? A new file is ready for your review. Again, this is our use case. But if you have different use case that you just have to be notified whenever there is any file that is added to a particular folder, then your message can be as such, right? So I'm going to say variables and step 1. And here we have link to the file, name of the added file or folder. Okay, link to folder, name of the folder. Now, you can see here, this means it's not just file that is getting added to that particular folder, but also a folder within that folder. Okay. Now in this case, because we are talking about file, I'm going to use this one, link to the file, right? I'll turn this on and asking me what are you trying to do? Drive 1, let's call it as rename. And this is turned on. Let me open chat. Okay. Let me have this ready. Now let me go to Google Drive demo and upload a file here, right? So it can be any file, so I'll just drag and drop. So let's say I'm going to drag and drop a PDF file, right? So I'll go back to this particular flow. I'll go to activity. Okay, let's refresh. This is not yet done. Okay, it's done. Yeah, Drive, it's working. Right, so let's wait and I'll go to, yeah, this is complete. I'll go here and you see here, I've got this Drive 1 app. A new file is ready for your review and this is the link, right? So I can actually click on this one. It opens up in a new tab. Okay, and I can go through this file. Got it? Now you might wonder, what is the point of me uploading the file and me getting the notification, right? Yes, that's right. Now let me share this with somebody else. So I'll share it. I'll say editor, I'll send. Now let's check what happens when the other user will add a new file. So you can see here I've logged in as another user. I'm going to upload a file. So let's say this particular file, okay, which is automated testing handbook.pdf. So it's in the process of getting uploaded and it's done. Let me go back here and go back to activity. You can see this is running right now. And if I go here, I should get a new message and I've got that, right? If I open it up, then this will be for the new file that we just uploaded, the automated testing handbook, which means this particular workflow has to be run or activated in the user's account who needs to be notified. This means this automation that we talked about or we are talking about has to be added in the person's account, whoever has to be notified. Okay, it doesn't matter who is uploading the file, but who has to be notified, because we only have one option, which is notify me in chat, right? And like I showed in the previous case, if you want this to be added in someone else's account, then they can just use it from here, right? So you can make it as Red 7 and then copy the link and share it with your team member. They will be able to activate this on their Google Workspace Studio. Let's move on and we will check what are the other triggers or starters available with Drive. Okay, so for that, I'm going to create a new flow. And the second one we have is when a file is edited, right? So here it keeps checking for any file that is getting edited. Of course, the one which we select here. And if there is any change in that particular file, it will trigger and actions will be performed. I'll click on Drive and it will ask us which file do you want to select. Now here, it could be a Google Doc, Google Sheets, right? Or it says video file. I'm not sure how video file could be added over here, right? But anyways, I'll go with one particular sheet. I'm going to select create one sheet here. Okay, let's call this as print and share because it's shared. And then I'm going to say sheet edit, and here let's say serial number and then name, email. So 1, 2, 3, Rakesh, Ramesh, and let's say John. Rakesh at abcd.com, Ramesh at abcd.com, and let's say John at xyz.com. Okay, so this is the file that we have created. I'll go and select this particular file. It should be the first one. Yes, sheet edit. I'll click on insert. Now any changes that we do here will get triggered, right? One of the things you will have to note is it gets triggered whenever there is this workflow running, okay, which is any edit happens and then it gets saved, right? So if I go here and make any changes, okay, until I click anywhere outside, this is not getting triggered. Now it got triggered, right? But in terms of Google Docs, you can check here. I type anything, it gets saved. I remove a space or a character, it gets saved. I add a space, it gets saved. So anything and everything that you're doing with a small pause, it will get saved. Okay, and this can trigger the workflow every time there is a small change. Okay, so that's why this would probably be useful for Sheets rather than Docs, but you could also select Docs if you need to. Okay, I'll just change this email ID and let's go back, and I can just again notify me in chat, or the options are very limited, right? So if you have to be notified, then it is by email or chat, or you could create some drafts and reply and all of, again, draft a reply or draft an email and so on and so forth. Okay, or you could add the data to Sheets and so on and so forth. Okay, you could also create a task, by the way. In the previous case that we saw where we were getting notified to review, we could also create a task, right? That could also be done. Anyways, so I will go to notify me in chat in this case. Okay, and here I'll say the file. I can say which particular file, variable, step 1, and name of added file or folder. When file is edited, okay, name of added file or folder it says. Okay, the file has been edited. Please check file and approve. Okay, let's assume that this is a some document which needs to be reviewed and approved anytime there is any change happening, right? That's when this would make sense. So please check the file and approve it. And if we go here, we have only link to the file, name of added file or folder, link to folder, and name or folder. Okay, so we would just give it this wait. And once this is done, I'll click on turn on in Drive 2. Let's say rename. So I'll go back here and john@xyz.com. I will just make it as abc.com, right? And if I go here, I should be notified over in the chat. So let's go to activity, refresh, and now I'm going to make the changes. Okay, this is anyways. Now you can see here it is actually run, right, for the change that I just did. And if I go here, you can see it shows the file sheet edit has been edited. Please check the file and approve. Sent by Workspace Studio, right? So that's how it works. I'll just quickly show you once more. Before that, I'll just make this in single quotes. Save change. I'll come here and maybe change this to mnop.com. And if I go here, I should get the message in a short while. You can see here the file secret edit has been edited. Please check the file and approve. Right? So that's the thing. Now, for somebody who wants to know like what got edited, they can actually go to this one. Okay, and they can see what exactly got edited. Right? So here it was no change to the sheet, it says. And here, okay, I'll just don't show this. So for the reviewer, they can actually go over here and check what changed, right? So these are all the changes that has happened. So they can just go here and check and then approve it. Finally, let's quickly check what is the third trigger that we have with Drive. Okay, and this is when an item in a folder is edited, right? Which means in the first case, we selected a particular folder, and when an item has been added there, this gets triggered. Here is when an item is edited. Okay, and here, this is when an item in a folder is edited. Okay, so if you make any changes, let's say for a folder within a folder, okay, you change the name or you change the name of the file and so on and so forth, then you could use this particular trigger or start it. Okay, I'll not go in depth of this. I think it's self-explanatory. So I hope you'll be able to figure it out. Now you see that just by doing some simple automations on Google Workspace Studio, you can actually save a lot of time to your team members where they have to send message on WhatsApp or Slack or anything, and the system will send notifications based on your requirement. Now all of this has to be configured on each user's system based on what is the flow that you need. But I hope these videos are helping you get started. For those of you who are stuck, join our WhatsApp community where you can actually get support from us if you are stuck. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.